Well, we gave Justin Stepp what, A minus, B
Yeah,
plus.
we came to an A.
Came to an A. Eric Kimmery, of course, gets an A plus as an alumnus of this very radio station. Jody Wright, we give Jody.
We settled on B. I said that Austin Stockton was a little underwhelming for me personally, but the emergence of Nate Atkins was really impressive in my opinion.
Greg Atkins, we gave D, right? C minus, D plus.
Yes.
/ potentially incomplete for me. Not so much for you. Ontario gave a C. Who else did we do? Clayton White gave a B plus, A minus. And then Torian Gray, I've given a generous A. I feel like outside of Pete Limbo, he's done maybe the best job of the assistant coaches. Any strong disagreements with any of those evaluations? Marcus Satterfield, I think we gave a D as well.
Y'all gave so y'all were just grading every single hire. At first, I thought y'all were confused and thought Kimmery was still on staff or something.
No. Because the exercise is you're only as good as the people that you hire. So how good a job? I think I would just say Shane Beamer has done a good job making hires, but it's like, let's go through and see what it looks like.
So let me trade out and get your contrarian hat and put it on myself.
Oh, good.
Okay. I think.
Where does he hide that thing, by the way? Is it under the table over here?
Nobody can see it.
It's just always on my head. It's actually, this is not my real hair. It's just a hat that looks like my hair.
So, I think, I don't know. Like, I think you could argue the other way. If you're saying you're only as good as the people around you, well, a head coach has to have the vision and foresight to hire the right people and to set the culture in the building. And, how are we going to run practice? How's my program going to run? When you lose an assistant for whatever reason, whether you have to fire him, whether he moves on to another job, whatever it may be, are you able to adequately replace those people? What is your recruiting strategy? Like, I feel like that goes on the head coach as well. You know what I'm trying to say? I mean,
well, I think that was Dilfer's point. It's like the way that you set things up is more important than like whatever you do on the sideline.
So he's right. So he's saying from an X's and O's standpoint, the head coach is the least important.
Yeah, I think it was just so if you have 40 awesome people in your building, like you can be a bad head coach and make fantastic hires.
No.
You can't get lucky with just like, oh, I got this guy and he was a really good coordinator. There's probably a really good track record of guys hiring coming from bad programs. No? Okay. Well, maybe not. But point is, that's the value of a head coach. So how well has Shane Beamer done that?
Well, I mean, I think he's done he's a first-time head coach, so is there a learning curve on a lot of different aspects, whether it's culture building, roster management, recruit, especially now, right? You think about becoming a head coach in 2005 for the first time versus becoming a head coach now in this era. So much different. So, this isn't a guy who's been a head coach for 10 years and he's coming from a lower level program or moving over. So I think I don't want to say like grading on a curve because it's a bottom line business, but I think when you look at the first 2 years, here's what I go to. He's exceeded expectations both of those 2 years. That counts for something. Say, well, people got the projections wrong, clearly. But this is a team that had extremely low expectations last season, ended up winning 7 games. The expectations were not super great this year. What was the Vegas? 5 wins, 5.5. And they end up getting into a position where they win 8 in the regular season. They beat 2 top 10 teams. Like, it's not, year 2 was not a year where you could go and look and say, oh, well, they had a soft schedule. They definitely didn't. Objectively did not have a soft schedule, knocked 2 teams out of the playoffs. You look at the recruiting, and from 2021, which is a very makeshift class because of COVID and the timeline and everything, 2022 kind of built on that. 23 was the best class in terms of high school / junior college prospects. So the trajectory still seems up on the program overall. And I think for that reason and what's been done on the field, I think you could give him, quite a good grade.
Yeah.
On however you classify that.
Well, and I guess part of my thought was looking forward and evaluate the last 2 years as kind of one thing and see what that means going forward, because there are different ways to outperform expectations. And maybe, and Preston, you were talking about this earlier, maybe it doesn't matter how you outperform expectations as long as you kind of catch back up. Like if Carolina can knock it out of the park in recruiting in the portal, even if they overachieved this year, even if beating Tennessee and Clemson like that wasn't sustainable, it doesn't matter if you get the players that believe that it is, and then all of a sudden you're actually as good as people think you are, or you want people to think that you are. But I think one marker of that is not necessarily wins and losses. It's just, do you have good coaches? Alabama, not the best staff that they've assembled, mostly South Carolina rejects, and they had their worst season in like 56,000 years. Alabama fans are rioting.
Coinky dink?
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe to Chris's point, to Trent's point. So no strong objections to the assistants that we've gone through and graded so far, Wes, Chris?
No, I mean, that's a conversation I would probably, what's the proper word, recuse myself from. Like, I don't know if I really feel comfortable grading the guys just based on personal and professional reasons there. I'm probably not the guy to do that. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd sit there and jump on the table and yell at y'all about any of those.
We can get it too wrong. Okay. All right, let's go to Jimmy Lindsey next, since we have a former defensive lineman with us.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at if we're talking about a job, we're talking about what an objective is. Objective of the defensive line is to probably stop the run first, and that's not what they did very well at all. So you'd have to say C at best, because that the defense struggled to stop the interior run consistently throughout the year.
I was going to ask if this was going to be the lowest grade we might hand out today, even compared to Marcus Satterfield, because of how consistently that group has struggled over the last 2 years with a lot of different personnel in there.
I mean, you could definitely make an argument for that, but I would save my harshest grades for the people that are higher up on the scale.
Okay.
So there's still a lot that maybe they're not necessarily in control of.
Mm-hmm.
But from a technique standpoint, from a statistical standpoint, and from an output standpoint, you would have to say that they were good enough to get those wins, but they weren't good at any point during the season.
Yeah, that's fair. Sterling Lucas, Carolina's edge coach this year, I feel similarly about. Here's the other tricky part of the evaluation, because it sounds like, and I think, Wes, you were telling us this a couple weeks ago, that the way that he's just hit the ground running and picked up recruiting despite not having done it is a big part of why he's been valuable to that staff. But I also think you can look at the edge position and feel like there was a lot left to be desired from them, from just in terms of productivity this year.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to him as a recruiter. He's been fantastic, and he's one of the guys that everybody over there being like the football building just has raved about, as far as how natural he is at developing relationships and just connecting with people from, different backgrounds. And I think that's going to serve him very well at South Carolina. I think, I don't know, I think you also have to sort of look into the fact that when you are coaching up some veteran guys, some guys that have been here for a while, yes, you can make an impact. I'm not going to sit here and say you can't, but you also have to consider, he's been here one season basically, as far as, what you expect from those guys. And another position where you look at, and one of your key starters that was already a position we knew coming in lacked depth, and one of your key just basically shoe-ins to start got injured, at the very beginning of the season and missed the rest of the year. So I think there are some sort of qualifying things to look at there. And then you also look, the run defense, in my opinion, is if you want to sit there and debate the percentages, that's one conversation. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of blame to probably go around on why the run defense struggled. Everything from interior D-line, edge guys, linebackers, scheme, all those things I think can factor in to, the run game issues on defense. And the thing that's hard to sort of put into words, or hard to really, understand, is all right, what's the biggest issue in stopping the run? And it's something we've really seen for the majority of the last 2 seasons. And sometimes it's a talent thing, as well, and just needing to continue to upgrade those positions up front.
Yeah, well, I think that's probably part of the reason that the defensive line's performance has been disappointing, because there is talent there. And so the expectations have been there when you have a former 5-star in Zach Pickens and a former 5-star in Jordan Birch and a former 4-star in Boogie Huntley. You should feel like you have enough talent there. Tonka Hemingway emerged as a force kind of wherever he was going to play, as a really disruptive guy. I think, for example, Sterling Lucas deserves a lot of credit for helping Gilbert Edmond, and Gilbert Edmond deserves a lot of credit himself, of course, but to go from someone that was expected to be basically a reserve defensive end to playing 70 plus snaps a game, he deserves a lot of credit for that. But I guess all of that adds up to there is talent, and there is like clear progress and improvement made by some of those players like Gilbert Edmond, like Tonka Hemingway, and yet it feels like the whole is less than the sum of the parts, which is not where you want to be, especially as a defensive line, where it feels like, like fit and just like playing greater than some of the parts is so important.
So I mean, that's a long-winded way of saying that's a C at best, because again, you're part of the crew that's primarily responsible for stopping the run, and they weren't able to do that. They weren't able to do that consistently. He's been here for 1 year. His grade can get better next year. Hopefully, it will. But based on what they did this year, that seems pretty fairly appropriate.
Yeah. So there's our grades. I guess we've kind of gone through everybody. Mikey P. We didn't do Mikey P.
We didn't do Mike P. He's out of here. So, and he's not an alum, so he doesn't get a grade.
Okay.
But you might have to ding Clayton a little bit, also because he's on paper as the linebacker coach.
That's true.
And so what he's responsible for. So if there's a problem with the inside linebackers, he's the coordinator and also the position coach. Something that I explicitly said about Marcus Satterfield when he was complaining about the quarterbacks. I was like, bruh, that's your job. So you might have to bing that. So that might take Clayton down a notch also. Still think it's a great value proposition, but you have to hold him for being coaching a position that he coaches.
So we'll put it all together as we continue here. And then, of course, we'll start to get the best evaluations and perspectives that we can on some of the other members of the support staff who are definitely important, even if we don't get to see them on the sidelines every Saturday like we do all the assistant coaches. We'll try to put it together and paint a picture of where exactly South Carolina is in year 2 under Shane Beamer. 803-404-6100, Love Chevy phone line. That's the Firehouse Subs text line number as well. All of us available for you on Twitter, at Pearson Fowler, at Coach P Tweets, at Wes Mitchell GC, at GC Chris Clark, at Tyler Head 18.
The early game with Bill Gunter and Jen Jensen.
You look at the way they recruit and you can kind of make your mark. Hello?
No, I was listening. I was listening to Red's take on the whole situation.
Exactly.
That was a very spirit. Either Red completely disagreed with you or was behind you cheering. That's my dad. That's a great point, Dad. You keep making that point.
He's gotten bad, man. He's like, he follows me outside, and then he wants a treat, and he barks until I give him a treat, and half the time he keeps barking. I don't know.
It sounds like working with Bill first thing every morning.
It is kind of. I really bother Jen until I get a treat each and every morning. So
he begs a lot.
On your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
This is Damon Amendolara with your CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by Prevagen. If Jim Harbaugh were to leave for the NFL, the Panthers' job might actually be the best option. The Broncos have to deal with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert 4 times a year. The Colts stuck in a deep AFC. But the Panthers are in the NFC and the worst division in football. And Tom Brady's likely to move on. The path to Carolina, relatively open. This is Damon Amendolara.
CBS Sports Radio.
Douglas is a real Prevagen user and paid testimonialist.
My name is Douglas. I'm 79 and I live in Chicago. I'm a writer, director. I used to be a marathon runner. Now I'm a walker. And the kind of work that I do, you are surrounded by people who are all younger than you. Memory became a factor. As everyone gets older, where did I put my keys? But I had to get help to stay competitive. I happened across Prevagen and I started taking it. I saw myself having an improved memory, which at the same time, I felt better about myself. I could not be doing what I'm doing today had it not been for Prevagen.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Prevagen is available in stores everywhere. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who were cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Come see the entire line of Whirlpool appliances at 1421 Atlas Road. Whirlpool offers bigger, better, and more efficient appliances. And Jeffers McGill offers the best in customer service and low prices. Jeffers McGill and Whirlpool, your home team.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
With COVID-19 still present in our community, the South Carolina Department on Aging hopes you and your loved ones stay safe during this time. We encourage older adults, family caregivers, and adults living with disabilities to learn more about how the COVID-19 vaccine can help protect against severe illness or death. For more information on how to keep you and your family safe, call the national hotline at 1-800-232-0233. That's 800-232-0233.
No one likes to talk about the injuries, pain, disability, and lost loved ones that result from terrible car and tractor-trailer accidents. I'm Jason Reynolds. At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we're honored to be the lawyers our clients rely on during their toughest moments.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When work injury disrupts your life, I work hard to get you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Uneven sidewalks, pool decks, or patios? Canty can repair them for just a fraction of the cost of replacement. Call Canty Foundation Specialists today for your free estimate.
Canty can fix it.
Uneven concrete can be a dangerous tripping hazard leading to injury. Call the experts at Canty to permanently repair your sinking or cracked concrete. Call 753-1495 or visit CantyCanFixIt.com. Canty can fix it.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, who wants to make a resolution they can keep? Let's resolve to eat better pizza. Come on, you can do it with the Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers. Let's start slow with the crust. We'll hand toss that spring water dough just for you. Then add the freshest ingredients and serve it hot. Now, lift it. You're doing it. It's a change of pizza lifestyle. Happy New You from the Mellow Mushroom in the Vista and on Sunset in Lexington.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour.
Presented by Firehouse Subs. Founded by firemen with Pearson Fowler,
Chris Clark, and Wes Mitchell.
On the home of the Gamecocks.
107.5
The Game.
23 minutes after 11 o'clock Wednesday morning. Welcome back into the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on 107.5 The Game. Pearson, Wes, Preston, Chris, Tyler here with you. Wrapping up the 2022 season. I can't believe we're already wrapping it up, by the way. Didn't we just start talking about football? How is it already over? Does the season as a fan feel longer or shorter than when you played?
Ooh, that's a great question. It feels shorter because I'm older. So everything goes by a little bit faster, I think.
That makes sense.
And it's very long on a Tuesday when you're in pads and you see that 24 periods again. And Lou Holtz is spitting in your face. It's like, all right, I'm ready for this to be over.
Yeah. That does sound
I read a
tough.
story recently about, I can't remember even what the story was about, but it referenced this guy who used to load up Holtz's golf cart. I don't know. What was on do you remember what was on the golf cart? It was
a Diet Coke, Snickers bar.
Yeah.
And he would always have a milkshake before games, but he wasn't diabetic,
Wow.
so I don't know what was going on with that. But I know it was very, very meticulous.
This was for practice?
Yes.
There was also apparently Red Man. He did chewing tobacco?
Yeah, I know he had a pipe, So I don't know
it wasn't chewing tobacco. It was
so
a
he
pipe.
had the pipe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
had to
pipe
stuff the
tobacco.
pipe because you would just tense up a little bit when you smell the pipe getting closer. You know, here he comes. He was coming to mess with something that the position coach had already explained, and he would come explain it a totally different way. And then everybody just has to sit there and be like, "All right, yes, sir, coach." And then when he leaves, Coach Strong's like, "All right, we're gonna go back and do it, this way."
Who was that had to make sure everything was meticulously ready?
Oh man,
Do you remember?
talking about all the people, but it's all those dudes who keep the thing running, man. Jonathan Reynolds, my guy Sean and Blake Edwards, the twins, they ran it. All of the equipment staff was all those folks who, and you would talk about support staff. Those are the people who really keep the whole empire going.
The people that Dabo made come watch the tape of the Carolina game.
Yes,
I remember now. It was
stuff.
somebody. I will find the story. It was somebody who ended up working in Clemson's athletic department.
Okay.
In creative or something. I don't know if it was Jonathan Gant here at that time.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
John Reynolds, but I don't remember Gant.
Yeah, there was somebody who ended up working for Clemson, and he was a Holtz guy. And I think either Tommy Bowden or Dabo ended up hiring him later, and he worked like in their athletics department.
So is it safe
to
to say that if Lou didn't have his Diet Coke and his Snickers, that it was not going to be a good day at practice?
No, it was not going to happen because that person would not be out of a job. So it was going to happen every day. That was going to be the thing. And then the last thing, he would always be wearing a sweater at practice, and we couldn't figure out what that was about. But what I didn't know in my young mind then is that he was wearing these really fancy cashmere sweaters that are breathable and you can wear them in the summer at the same time. So we thought he was a madman. He was just rich. And we didn't know. We didn't know what the difference was.
A little bit of both. And just tiny. Like it was just skin and bone. He had to have some insulation.
Well, his favorite statement was you can't get water out of a rock. So yeah, that's why. Well, we asked him why he didn't sweat. But then also people would say that, the devil doesn't sweat either. So who knows what the truth was.
Oh my gosh. I remember Eric telling me a story about someone basically giving Lou a hard time, like it was a windy day. And it was like, hey, you better be careful, coach. You're going to blow away. And he was like, I'll be all right. I have my wallet in my back pocket.
One accurate.
Oh my gosh.
He references wallet quite often.
I would too.
Like, yeah, I'm 5'7", I'm 6'5", I stand on my wallet.
Why don't we have more coaches like that anymore?
Because everybody has to be nice, neat, fit in the package. We don't want to make any, there's not going to be any stories about these dudes when they pass on, man. I don't know. Just got sad. Anyway.
No, I'm kind of sad now. We just had like 5 minutes of fun story time and
analytics. Here we go.
That's not true because rest in peace. We just had Mike Leach who will give us stories for a lifetime. Still got the lane train going. We have other.
Yeah, man. I had a story sent to me. I don't know if my guy Steven is listening, but he sent me a story, and you might have read it, about how Mike Leach adopted a local restaurant in Starksville, and he basically he helped them through COVID, but even more importantly, that he was just a regular frequenter of the restaurant, and he had like a regular special that he would get, and he would just walk in and be like, "Hey, what's up, such and such, and what's up, such and like, hey, what's up, coach?" And they would just, it was just like a regular, normal human interactions, which are less and less today. So that was really cool.
Did they mention what the Leach was?
Well, they didn't mention. Yes, they did. They did. The reason they connected was because he came in just as some unassuming dude walking into this restaurant, and he was like, he had to make sure his wings was fried hard, and so that was his specialty. And then the woman was like, "Yeah, that's how I like mine too." And then they had like a 30-minute conversation about why they both like their wings fried hard, and a friendship was born. That's cool.
I found who the person was. It was really bothering me. So y'all indulge me. All right. This is from a story from Tiger Illustrated, actually. It was DJ Gordon.
Okay.
So Stockstill actually had something. Yeah, he was, of course, a Clemson assistant who ended up going to South Carolina.
Great dude.
So Gordon worked for Holtz in Holtz's last year, and then also worked for Steve Spurrier or some. But Gordon said that he could recite the checklist because he had to prepare the golf cart for practice every day. So here's what it is, according to Tiger Illustrated. 6 golf balls, a pitching wedge, 3 Snickers bar, 3 Baby Ruths, a pipe, Cherry Red Man smoking tobacco, and 6 cans of caffeine-free Diet Coke. Yeah, do that every day.
3 Snickers and 3 Baby Ruths.
Man, if you only knew how accurate that was. We'll move on really quickly. But my guy, Jonathan Austin, went down to visit Coach Holtz in Orlando. Went to sit with him and talk with him, and he was at the country club. And they bought Coach Holtz his breakfast, and he sent it back because it had too many strips of bacon. He only had 3 strips of bacon on his bacon. They had 4, and he said he sent it back because that wasn't what he ordered. So, yeah, that is 100% accurate.
For anyone out there that doesn't believe that coaches are control freaks,
too many strips of bacon. Like, I don't
no
want
such thing.
Right.
yeah, like 1, eat it. 2, you can leave it on your plate. 3, wow.
Yeah.
Ma'am had to watch his cholesterol though. Snickers, Baby Ruths, but that 1 extra piece of bacon was going to put him over the edge.
I do feel like there was a missed opportunity for Snickers with the, what's the you need a Snickers commercials from back in the day. I don't know if those are still even
Actually,
going
that
on.
would be fantastic. You have like grumpy Lou Holtz yelling at people in practice,
and
then it's like, hey, you need a Snickers, and it's still grumpy Lou Holtz yelling at practice. He's just eating a Snickers. That's perfect.
The problem is Snickers has a lot of S's in it, and that's going to be really tough for him to get out during the post show.
Is there any way he ate 6 candy bars during practice?
He didn't give them away.
He just needed them in case.
He didn't give them away. I know that. So there's a
It was
possibility.
like a drinking game for him. Every time there was a busted assignment, he'd eat a Baby Ruth.
Very possible.
It probably wasn't the fun size either.
That's why he needed so many that first year. So many busted assignments.
Wow. All right. There's no way to get back on track. This has been fun though. 803-404-6100. I don't know. We'll probably keep talking about football. I also want to get Wes's thoughts on the Under Armour All-American game last night. South Carolina very well represented in that game. A lot more to do as we continue on here in the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour next.
More of the Extra Point coming up next on 107.5 The Game.
Camden Military Academy. It's probably not what you think. Hear now from a cadet's mom.
Andrew totally failed 7th grade. And when he came to Camden, now he's A and B student. He's doing very well. So for me, as a parent, I will tell you, be open-minded. Check it out yourself. Do your research, because I did mine. I sent a boy to Camden Academy, and I got back a wonderful child with leadership.
To learn more, visit CamdenMilitary.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-306-8158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-306-8158. That's 800-306-8158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-306-8158. Again, 800-306-8158.
Plus text takes entitled with approved credit. Call 888-411-7640 for details. Columbia, here are 3 rock-solid reasons you need to rush to JT's Dodgeland. 1, trade. JT desperately needs your trade and will pay you up to thousands more than you ever dreamed of. 2, massive discounts on Rams, Chargers, Challengers, and pre-owned. Up to $10,000. Go to jtsdodge.com and see for yourself. 3, JT's Credit Restart Program. If you take home $400 a week and have a steady job, you could be driving today. Rush to JT's Dodgeland on Greystone. jtsdodge.com.
Hi, this is Joe Cordell with the law firm Cordell & Cordell. When the prospect of divorce becomes a reality, you need a partner that you can count on. If you're a man in this situation, consider contacting Cordell & Cordell. We've helped men navigate complex legal matters for 30 years.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Columbia area attorneys. 1201 Main Street, Suite 840, Columbia, South Carolina, 29201. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try Babbel for free. That's BABBEL.com.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour.
Presented by Firehouse Subs. Founded by firemen with Pearson Fowler,
Chris Clark, and Wes Mitchell.
On the home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
$11:35 Wednesday morning. Welcome back into the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Pearson, Wes, Preston, Chris, and Tyler here with you in the Herndon Chevy Studios. The rain has subsided. Still wet. Still lots of water on the road, so be careful if y'all are driving around. Of course, we're right down here in downtown Columbia. Gervais Street was a river like 20 minutes ago. Not too bad right now, but continue to drive safely. Pay attention where you're going out there, wherever you're driving in Columbia today. We were talking about
sorry,
kind of grading. No. How did we even start talking about Lou Holtz?
I don't know. The spirit moved us.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. People enjoy Lou Holtz stories.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about Shane Beamer's staff.
Yep,
hiring good people, that being a model for future success. We went through the assistant coaches. I don't know as much about the support staff. I know that, like, for example, Kristen Coggins, like a just outrageously popular person. People come to campus and like her, and I think all the players enjoy cooking and learning from her. Those are like the evaluations that are a little bit harder. Without asking you to get into it, Chris, what are the things that you look for to evaluate the support staff? Because as an offensive coordinator, it's like, how's the offense? Defensive line coach, how's the defensive line? How would you go about evaluating the rest of the support staff that Shane Beamer's assembled?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of different lanes, in terms of support staff. So you kind of have the recruiting operation and how South Carolina has it structured. And this is not atypical. This is really the model that many programs in college football, at least the big time Power 5 ones, have gone to. From a recruiting standpoint, you normally have a director of player personnel, or sometimes it's called a general manager, whatever title you want to come up with. And that person's kind of responsible for scouting and setting a recruiting plan, et cetera.
Is it
Taylor Edwards here?
Yeah.
And then you have Jessica Jackson as the director of on-campus recruiting. So she's more charged with, figuring out the logistics of official visit weekends, unofficial visit weekends, helps work on camps and things like that. And those two, departments or arms kind of all coexist under the same umbrella. If you just want to call it recruiting, like if you just want to generalize it, you have Justin King's creative team. So Justin is, he heads up that department and has obviously a team that works under him. You have Kristen and the, obviously the nutrition staff. They do a really good job. You have the academic support staff is obviously a big part of what they do. So a lot of different kind of arms and lanes. And I think, kind of like with the offense, where you say an offensive coordinator, how good's the offense? And of course you have to contextualize that. I think same thing, your recruiting staff, if they're getting a lot of visitors in, if they're putting together good classes, if there's a plan, if they're kind of scaling up from year to year in terms of the quality, then that's normally a sign that they're doing a pretty good job. And, even Kristen has carryover in recruiting, because oftentimes when Wes and I are talking to prospects, one of the first things out of their mouths is usually, we did the cooking demonstration. It was awesome. It's going to help me, change my body once I get to the college level.
Yeah, I would like to add on to that. She has to have a delicate touch with that, because obviously the way people eat is very personal to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes trying to get somebody to eat more or eat less or eat differently, a lot of these young folks are coming from a diet of chicken fingers and French fries and getting them to eat salmon and vegetables. So she has to have a really delicate touch, and that's probably across the country, that's an underrated position on many of these athletic staffs.
I'll add, especially the transfers, even the guys that in a lot of cases have been in other college football programs, which I think is probably a really good like one-to-one comparison there. The high school guys probably they have no idea what else is even out there. But even the transfers, I remember with our Garnet Trust interviews, I was getting to talk to a lot of these guys when they had just gotten to South Carolina and had been here maybe 2 or 3 weeks, a month. And when I was just asking in general about their experience, almost all of them mentioned Kristen, the job she has done, and just the care she puts in. I mean, I think ultimately the guys want to know that you care about their well-being, not just about what they're going to do on a football field. And I think that's the thing with Kristen. She does a really good job of just connecting with these guys, making them feel comfortable talking about these things. And it does, like Chris said, it carries over to recruiting. A lot of guys, if you're 17, 16 years old, you're coming in for a recruiting visit, you've maybe never actually cooked for yourself in your life. So there's an interesting element. You can see the guys kind of light up after they take official visits because that recruiting or that demo where they get to cook is a part of their recruiting visit. And a lot of them will be like, yeah, I cooked stir fry for the first time. I cooked steak for the first time. Never knew how to do that. But even some of the guys that get here initially and are on campus actually learning how to cook different recipes, different skills in the kitchen, even learning, hey, if you're cooking raw chicken or raw beef, this is what you have to do to protect yourself.
Don't wash it.
Like if you're in a situation where you've never learned that, how would you know it? So I think there are a lot of life skills that go well beyond the football. Yes, it matters on the football field because if you're doing all this working out but you're not eating right, that's going to matter to your body composition. However, I think life skills and just making yourself a better, more equipped person just in daily life is a big part of this as well. And she excels at that.
Have you been invited to do a bacon, egg, and cheese demonstration yet? Since you were the bacon, egg, and cheese expert?
We need to get on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have tips for like crafting the perfect bacon, egg, and cheese if you were going to make your own in the Long football operations facility?
Yeah, well, I'm going to need you to bake me up some brioche. I know you're
I can do that.
You're the bread expert.
I made brioche one time, and it was a huge pain, but I'll do it for you.
Okay, awesome.
Cool. Preston, your head coach was eating Snickers and Baby Ruths by the fistful during practice. Did y'all even talk about nutrition? What was eating like when you were playing?
Man, go to the Russell House, use your bonus bucks, chicken finger Wednesdays, get really good with the folks that are behind the grill so that maybe they can make you a double patty melt instead of a single one, and you still get the same price as a single one.
Is that from personal experience?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. And then also, this is probably forbidden now, but we had winners meals and losers meals. And so if you won a game, you would get steak and lobster. It was the first time I had lobster was in college. You get steak and lobster, and if you lost, you got hot dogs boiled and a bag of chips. I don't think you can do that anymore, but that was you would always look forward to the winner's meal. They had regular basic training table that you would eat, but nutrition was not a thing that was definitely concerned about. Especially some of the guys that lived off campus would just subsist on ramen.
Yeah.
The George Foreman grill was huge at the time.
Okay.
So it was a lot of Foreman grilling going down. Roger Wood sausage. Anything you could get in bulk cheaply was what you was working with.
There is absolutely nothing wrong
I'm
with
with
Roger
you.
Wood sausage.
I'm with you.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, I know we've been going on a lot of trails, but this is very important. How do you deal with your Roger Wood? What's your selected
Chicken
pattern?
bog.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Chicken bog works.
Preferred vehicle.
Preferred vehicle for Roger Wood is the chicken bog. Wes, do you have one?
I mean, I'm just gonna. Hopefully, I'm about to ask a question that maybe some other listeners are asking. But what are we talking about?
Oh
here?
man,
it's just a brand of sausage. Cheap sausage. Big, kind of like smoked sausage.
It's smoked sausage.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm pulling it up right now because I didn't know either.
Okay, all right. I'm speaking for the people out there who might be driving.
The room has been split in half right here.
Speaking
okay,
of,
yeah.
It's great.
I mean, I don't think I knew that was Roger Wood, but I mean, it's Italian sausage, right? Like
no. Stop. You're gonna embarrass yourself. You're gonna embarrass yourself. Don't do that anymore.
Text sausage.
Text. No. You cannot do that. That's like saying a play action is the same as an RPO. It's not the same. It's not the same thing. Text us. Give us a text number, please.
803-404-6100.
Text us if you know where Roger Wood is, please. We need to know what caliber of listeners we have listening to the show.
I'm sure Wes and I are going to be on an island here. I guess does this put us in the slob category?
No, this puts you in the snob category.
Yeah, I think Roger Wood eaters are the slobs. Preston and I are
Really?
slobs.
Yeah, but you have to
I
boil it.
don't even know the
It's
brand.
It's very cheap, very cheap, very filling. You boil it, slice it down the middle, fry it.
Maybe I'll bring in some chicken bog sometime soon.
Yeah,
with
please
some
do.
Roger Wood.
I love that. I've never made it for myself. I just let other people that actually know how to make it. Real quick, unnamed texter. When I was in college, I had a special cashier at the Russell House who would give me extra Chick-fil-A sauce because none of the others would hear me out.
Solid.
Who wants to eat dry fries and or chicken?
That's why you have to learn about really making the right relationships. You know,
Networking.
You have to talk to Miss Betty or Mr. Joe behind the grill or whoever. You got to get in good with those folks because they're the ones that take care of you.
All this talking about food's probably making everybody hungry.
Me.
Yeah. So, like, what would you want to go eat for lunch right now after all this talk about food?
Well, and you just mentioned the text line. That's, of course, brought to you by Firehouse Subs. So Firehouse Subs would be a great location to go get a winner's meal. Even if you haven't won today, just go. You'll feel like a winner when you go to Firehouse Subs. One of 14 Midlands locations. Make sure you go and check out, if you're interested, their sub of the day. That's the daily sub special. Today is Wednesday. That is the New York Steamer. Heard from a listener on the show last week. They said, I went and got a New York Steamer last Wednesday because it sounded so good. It is. That's $5.99 for a small, $7.99 for a medium. There's a sub of the day at one of 14 Midlands locations for Firehouse Subs every day of the week, Monday through Sunday. Order through the app, Firehouse Subs app from your phone. Go to firehousesubs.com and do the rapid rescue. Or even if you text the Firehouse Subs text line here on the station at 803-404-6100, you will get a link back to order.
Lots of people texting right now. That's lots of people that want sandwiches from Firehouse Subs. A few sausage takes as well. We'll get to a few more of those. We'll also kind of try. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know where we're going to land this plane, but we're going to try to land it as far as Shane Beamer's staff and the progress made into the first 2 years. Carolina's improved in wins. How likely are they to keep that trajectory going? Has a lot to do with the people in the building. We'll continue talking about that next.
More of the Extra Point coming up next on 107.5 The Game.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive tablets contain alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, plus B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. And try Nervive Pain Relieving Cream to block nerve pain signals at the source. Use as directed.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Changing your oil. You know, an oil change is a great way to get more MPGs. Right now, you can enter for a daily chance to win a $200 AutoZone gift card when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 Full Synthetic and an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $38.99. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
No purchase required.
Plus text entitled with approved credit. Call 888-411-7640 for details. Columbia, here are 3 rock-solid reasons you need to rush to JT's Dodgeland. 1, trade. JT desperately needs your trade and will pay you up to thousands more than you ever dreamed of. 2, massive discounts on Rams, Chargers, Challengers, and pre-owned. Up to $10,000. Go to jtsdodge.com and see for yourself. 3, JT's Credit Restart Program. If you take home $400 a week and have a steady job, you could be driving today. Rush to JT's Dodgeland on Greystone. jtsdodge.com.
Hey, if you've got a hole in your roof or you need a whole new roof, you need to call Mid-State Roofing, 356-1919. For nearly a quarter of a century, Mid-State Roofing has established its reputation as the leader in the roofing industry. Whether it's above your head or at your feet, perhaps a leaky foundation, 356-1919 is the number to call for all your roofing and waterproofing needs. The quality and craftsmanship of a Mid-State roofing system are tops in the industry, especially commercial and industrial roofing systems. If you own or you're in charge of a large building, warehouse, or industrial facility, then you're in charge of that roof. And at some point, a roof is going to need some attention. So the number to call for advice, service, results, and a commitment to customer satisfaction is 356-1919. See all that Mid-State has to offer when you click on midstateroofing.com. Tell them, Mid-State twins.
If you have a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
356-1919, midstateroofing.com.
At Atkins Law,
We understand the key to teamwork is trust, and we would like to thank all of our clients for trusting us when they've been hurt on the job. We love this community, and it's important to us to make a difference for people right here at home. We are also proud to support the Gamecocks in all their endeavors. Remember, be early and be loud. If you've been hurt on the job, who you hire matters. I'm Holly Atkins. Call us 803-251-6406.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour.
Presented by Firehouse Subs. Founded by firemen with Pearson Fowler,
Chris Clark, and Wes Mitchell.
On the home of the Gamecocks.
107.5
The Game.
10 minutes in front of noon, Wednesday morning. And what a show it's been here. The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Pearson, Preston, Wes, Chris, Tyler, all here with you. The text line has blown up. We've gotten more texts since 11:46, 11:45, when the name of Roger Wood was invoked. And you would think we were talking about like Roger Maris or something like that. But
even better.
Like literally somebody just sent us a picture of a Roger Wood sausage. It looks like this person is like probably standing in the grocery store right now.
There we go.
In front of these sausages.
That's what I'm talking about.
It looks good. It sounds good. Wes and I are being smeared now for not having eaten it, but for like the wrong reasons. Rather than us being the slobs, we're the snobs for not having eaten this sausage, which is very confusing. Matthew said, in the text line, it says Matthew parentheses Clemson fan says, "Hey, my dudes, love this Wednesday conversation. Roger Wood sausages used to be a product I enjoyed. Grilled, boiled, fried, and stir fry, and the list goes on." Says first time in a while, but want to say go Tigers, and y'all should have had the W in the Gator Bowl. So
appreciate that, man. Look at that, Roger Wood's bringing everybody together.
Seriously, I mean, this is crazy. A lot of people that just like Roger Wood on just white bread with ketchup and mustard or mayo.
Well, the thing is if you're eating Roger Woods, you probably only have just white bread. Also, it's probably the only couple things you have available to you.
Do you cook it?
Yeah,
you got to cook it.
You have
I think it's uncooked.
So it's not like salami where you
no. You have to cook it. That's where you get the creativity and how you cook it.
Okay,
fry it, boil it. As my man said, you can do a lot with it.
Chris, you said chicken bog. Do you have a preferred method of consumption, Preston?
Yeah, like I said, boil it first. You got to boil it first, split it down the middle, fry it on the edges. Get it real crispy. Get that skin with a little bit of snap to it. Dang. Yeah.
See, that sounds amazing.
With white bread, the white bread gets stuck to the top of your teeth.
Tyler, do you have any idea what these sausages are?
I looked it up. I'm not familiar with it either.
Okay.
I guess I'm a snob.
It's all right.
I guess
it's all right,
so.
Tyler. Can't win them all.
That's the other thing we haven't done. We have not played Slob or Snob with Tyler yet. This is a game that Preston and one of your coworkers came up with. We'll get some queued up for you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, we'll get some good ones ready, but we at least know that you're a sausage snob, apparently, as I am. I like sausage. I guess.
Do you?
I guess not. I thought I did. I need to go get some of this. Like, can I get this at any local purveyor of groceries?
Oh, it's everywhere. Probably you want to lean towards like Piggly Wiggly, IGA-ish type of stores. You know, one of those type of grocers. Maybe not.
IGA is the closest thing to my house. I was.
Yeah.
This
They're
is not
probably not carrying it in Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or anything like that.
This is not an ad, but I was just mystified. I went in there the other day. I got a 20-pound box of chicken leg quarters for $13.
IGA smells the same everywhere. It's the same. I don't know how that works, but it's the same smell. And I mean, it smells like home. But
that, you know what that is? That's excellent quality control.
Correct.
They must have some great staffers that are on the scent team. They can make everything smell the same. I don't know. That's my ham-fisted way, no pun intended, as we talk a lot about pork today. I don't know, but we're not going to wrap this conversation up. How's Shane Beamer done through 2 years, guys? Good, bad? Thumbs up. Your mic's off.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. There you go. Wes figured it out.
I guess what's interesting to me, and I think what I applaud is that he is he's been diligent in getting the people that he wants to get. He's not just going to get the hottest name or the most easily recognizable assistant coach. And I think that does show a level of sort of vision, and as to Chris's point, an idea of what he wants the organization to be. So I do applaud that.
The one notable exception, of course, being Dow Loggins, who everyone was clamoring for all offseason, and then he had to succumb to the fine, Twitter mafia. I'll go hire Dow Loggins if that's the guy that you want.
Everybody,
but other than that, it's been a little more off the beaten path. I think that it's definitely risky, because if you do not make the popular hires and then things do not go well, then you're in trouble. If you make the popular hires and things don't go well, like Will Muschamp may have bought himself more time by hiring names that were more familiar, because people were more willing to, I don't know, like see what happens when you bring the next guy in. So it takes a little bit more trust, but it's more belief in your process, I guess. And ultimately, now that we're literally more than an hour into this conversation, to bring it back to Trent Dilfer's initial quote, it's like, if that's the important thing, maybe it's not even as important. Like, I mean, the decisions that you make are important, but it's like the uniformity and the consistency and applying your philosophy to the program feels like maybe the most essential part, at least in the early part of building a program up. Like, just have everybody on the same page, and you're going to be better than a program that's just as talented but maybe more disjointed.
Yeah, I'm joking, but not really joking about Alabama. I think that's something that I really would like to keep an eye on. As you see them sort of go through these recycled type of coaches, and then recycle the sort of throwaways from other programs, I wonder how that's going to play out if the only thing that's keeping them floating is just that they have so much talent that those guys can't mess it up. I think it's also interesting to see this approach as opposed to what's happening up at Clemson, where, you have a lot of promotion and hiring. Some people have not taken to that at this point. As you alluded to, is there a crack that's happening? Is there going to be a different philosophy taken? It's interesting to see how it plays out.
A+, Wes?
Sure, yeah.
Wow, A+ from Wes. What about you, Chris?
Are you talking about a Beamer grade?
Yeah.
No, I mean, do you give any coach an A+ unless they win the national title that one year?
In year 2, like Jim Tressel, Urban Meyer, and Bob Stoops, and Sonny Dykes in year 1.
Jim Tressel, who, by the way, didn't he get fired for players getting autographs or something?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that now? You get fired if you don't have all your players signing autographs now.
Which Jim Tressel, by the way, went on to be the president of Youngstown State University. Being a football coach to being a university president, and he just protected his players, and they were like, "Nope, you can't coach here anymore." That's when we should have known the NCAA was crooked.
Yep. That and every other time they did anything. I don't know if we solved any questions today. We tried. We have an interesting question here too, just about what if everything's pointing up right now, why does everybody want to leave? Maybe something worth unpacking tomorrow.
Good question.
But no better place to end today's show, especially since this is not a visual medium, than with this picture of sausage that John sent us. These sausages that we've been talking about all hour. Just a pack of sausages.
Mm-hmm.
It's been that kind of show. Appreciate you all chiming in, teaching us about sausage. That's all we have time for. We'll be back to talk about sausage again tomorrow.
WNKT-FM, Eastover, Columbia.
107.5 The Game, a Cumulus station.
Without the ones like you.